Welcome to the Sisterhood of Sweat. It's Let It Rip Friday.
Hi, I'm Linda Mitchell, 54-year-old elite obstacle racer, award-winning fitness competitor, gym owner, and author. Welcome to the Sisterhood of Sweat podcast, where we will approach the difficult topics of life, interview inspiring guests, and bring empowerment to all. This community is a place where we can be who we are instead of who others want us to be. Let's get started.
And now, a word from our sponsors, Essential Formulas.
Now more than ever, it is important to have a healthy immune system. Many health professionals agree that probiotics are a leading natural therapy for boosting immune health. Why? Because 70% of your body's immune cells reside in the GI tract. By taking a superior probiotic daily, like Dr. Ohhira's probiotics, with their postbiotic metabolites, you can enhance your overall immune system and immune response. For additional immune support, get RegActive's Immune Formula to boost your glutathione levels, since our glutathione levels go down if we feel stressed. Maintaining glutathione levels is a key factor for natural defense. For a short-term immune boost, try Dr. Ohhira's Propolis Plus, which provides probiotic and immune support and includes Brazilian green propolis for superior antioxidant support and vitamin E, astaxanthin, and flax oil. Be proactive about your immune health. Ask your retailer today about Dr. Ohhira's probiotics, RegActive Immune Formula, and Dr. Ohhira's Propolis Plus today.
And today's episode, I am being interviewed by my great friend, Kate McKay of the Survive to Thrive podcast. And Kate also wrote a foreword to my book, and she was a huge catalyst in my business and as well as my writing of my book and so many other things. So I am very excited to have you guys listen to her. And this is an interview she did on her show. Without further ado, let's dive into the episode.
Linda Mitchell, welcome to the show.
I'm so excited to be here with you today, Kate.
I actually had to pause us because we were going on a rampage. I'm like, wait a minute, we got to hit the record button. So when you get someone on that you really know and treasure, like I treasure Linda, it's all fun and games. So I'm really looking forward to introducing Linda. Linda Mitchell is a leading women's health expert, a best-selling author, a fitness boutique owner, and creator of Sisterhood of Sweat brand. After surviving domestic violence, Linda has made it her mission to empower other women by helping them take responsibility for their health and their wealth, I'm going to add, so that they can be in the best shape physically and emotionally. She's an award-winning fitness competitor, amen, cover model, and host of the podcast, The Sisterhood of Sweat, a top 50 podcast with over 350,000 downloads. Oh my gosh, I knew we're wet. Linda has written her own column, Fit Over 40, and has spoken on numerous stages, including Podfest and Women's Future Conference and Comeback Champion. She has appeared on ABC, NBC, Bold TV, and Fox. Wow. Holy crap. So Linda, welcome. And man, I love it because I knew you before the podcast, right? I mean,
you knew me before everything.
Oh my God.
I mean, you're the biggest catalyst for my first book over here, The Sisterhood of Sweat. And I think you were actually around when it was going to be a book with somebody else. And that fell apart, and good thing it did, because everything works for our good. And literally the name, I just thought about what it was I wanted to create and what I was going through right then and what type of community that I wanted. And then the name, the Sisterhood of Sweat standing for strong women, empowering, achieving together, collaborating, not hating, having each other's back, and supporting and appreciating each other's strengths as women. And that was the kind of community and sisterhood and environment I wanted. And the book came first, which at first I thought was backwards, but now I get that it really did happen in the right order.
Yes, it sure did, because the book is, when we're really talking about our story, so much comes up and so much clarity in the why. So I want to get right on into it. So I just want to tell a quick story. I had met Linda because we competed together in Fitness America, and I remember seeing Linda, and she was sitting at this table with a few other women, and I just looked at her. And I don't even know exactly what I said, but something like, I see your light, babe. Like, I don't know what it is, but I see your light. And there was just a connection that we had. And it was so random, but I don't even know what it was. But there was some goosebumpy moment where I saw into Linda. And so this is the thing in life, man. We have opportunity to touch into people if we're open to it. And Linda was open to me, and I was open to her. It was just this magical thing. And I know viewers and listeners, you guys have all experienced something like that. And now here we are able to celebrate each other in such a cool thing. So, yeah. So do you remember that, Linda?
Oh my gosh. I'll never forget that moment. Because it's like people like to be seen. You really saw me, like just me, like just who I was, what I was about. And you said to me, I see and I know that you're here for bigger things.
Yeah, I have goosebumps, girl. Total goosebumps. And it's such a beautiful reflection, because like, clearly you're absolutely gorgeous physically. I mean, you have a beautiful light energy, and I saw so much of the light, right? Because we're in competition. We're in a show. We're in a sport, in bikini and fitness competitions. And we're both, 50 plus, right? So, but it's an incredibly intense sport. And somehow, some way, even though we understood that it was a competition, we still were able to be here. We're here to support other people. We're here to support other women and men as light bearers and bringing the spotlight on other people so that they can witness their own brilliance. And so I love that. Can you tell me more about why it's so important for you? And what was the lesson or the big aha in the book? And what is your why, Linda?
What is my why? I'm probably going to tackle first. I went through, when I was younger, a really traumatic relationship, which I understand now today that it was because of my childhood where there was traumatic things going on. My mom was depressed and she was suicidal. And so it was, though I love my mother and she is a good human being, it was very dysfunctional and I was unprotected. I was not shown how to set proper boundaries. So this all sets you up for other things that come in your life. And so the abusive relationship, and I had the good girl syndrome. Liz Howe's mom told me that, and she was right on the money. I people please because I learned at an early age that you got to check everybody's emotions in the room because my mom was suicidal and all this was going on.
So it's like a hyper alert, Linda, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm,
so
yes.
What do you lose in that, dude? Because all the listeners and viewers, we've all had trauma, but Linda's had a fair amount, right? And so what is that? And why is that?
It is really, I didn't understand why I had this. I'm empathic, but now that I've really done a lot of work through boundaries and I've worked, I just had Terry Cole on the podcast, on the Sisterhood of Sweat podcast, all about boundaries. And it is a protection when you are young like that and you're thrown into having to be the strong one and it's survival and it's an instinct that you develop. That's why I'm so attuned that I could know everyone's emotions in the room, that I could know as soon as you walk in if something's not right with you. And it's a gift, but it's also not a gift. you have to learn how to use your gift, because you get a gift through everything that you go through. And I think that over time, I have learned how to use that gift, but how to protect myself and not be like taking everyone's problems on because I feel them like they were my own. I'm very, very empathic, but it all stems from that trauma early on. And so my why, after going through that and then being a victim of domestic violence, now I am a survivor. I am a thriver. I am no longer in that space. I got strong. I was always strong. I found my strength. I stood up and took charge and got out of the situation. But the biggest thing, I think, as far as my why goes, is my life was almost snuffed out. And I felt my mother had no voice growing up. And I almost didn't have a voice. And so my why is I want every woman to have a voice and to recognize that she is worthy of being seen, of being heard, of having her own wants, needs, and desires.
So what is it? So what is that for you then? I mean, how did you know to feel that way, but then to actually create Safe Haven? Because like we've talked a lot about this, in particular when you opened up the studio, that you just felt it was really important. So basically, did you create something that you needed?
Yes. I totally created what I wanted, what I wished I would have had back at the time that I felt as a single mom having to leave a bad situation behind with 2 small kids. I didn't have any formal education, and figuring out how I was going to make it. I felt unsupported and alone. And I remember at the time wishing, that someday I could take, when I was stronger and I was through this mess on the other side of it, that I could create a place for women where they could have the support that I needed at that time. I was just wanting to be that place, that person to give what I wish I would have had.
Oh, so amazing to have that level of clarity. Hi, this is Kate McKay. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Survive to Thrive. I will be releasing a book soon called Claim Your Inner Warrior, a book especially for men, in the coming months. So stay tuned. Thank you again, and make today amazing. So what did you want to be when you grew up, Linda? I've never asked you this question. I'm curious.
Oh, let's see. When I was young, I think I wanted to be a star, go to Hollywood and be in California. And then it kind of evolved to I wanted to have a fitness studio in Beverly Hills. Like these 2 girls, their names were Susie and Leslie, and I used to do their exercise videos and workouts. And I went to a studio when I was around 18, and there was this really cool lady, and she was in her 50s, and she was fit and vibrant and independent, and she had a voice. And I thought, oh yeah, I really think I want to do this, something like this. And I wanted to have a place for women where they could just have the whole package. It isn't just about it's about improving ourselves and self-development, but it isn't just about lifting and pushing around a weight or running on the treadmill. It's about so much more than that. And that was what I wanted to bring. And it just evolved as I stepped more and more into it. The more it evolved, I started very scrappy and very small with 1 TRX out on the bridge of Voice of America Park. Like I left the corporate world behind and just decided I want to see where this leads. I had this vision of holistic health for women. And I just, I felt like a troll on the bridge as my friends from the frou gyms would pass by.
Barbie under the bridge. There's Barbie under the bridge, because that was a role model for you, right? Like you wanted to be Barbie. There's a piece of it that so what is it true or not true? Am I wrong?
I did. No.
Did you ever talk about Barbie?
No, I played Barbie as a character at Fitness America, but I never really wanted to be Barbie. No,
I
loved Barbie growing up, though. So
you what?
I did love Barbie growing up, but I never really thought of being Barbie. But
but in many ways, it's just like the reason why I'm asking you that is because for you to say, man, like Barbie was awesome, right? But there was such a negative stigmatism to that because it's just the reason why I wrote Living Sexy Fit. Sexy is what's that part of you that lights yourself up. It doesn't matter who or what you are. Sexy is something to embrace, right? Yes. And I think that you and I grew up in a certain time where sexy wasn't good. It meant you weren't smart.
Oh, and Kate, I actually enjoy when people underestimate me because of blonde hair and blue eyes and maybe looking a little bit like Barbie. I love that when they underestimate me.
Tell me more about that. Because you know why? Because so few people would see that and understand that about you or about themselves. So what would you want the viewers or the audience members to know about that?
To know about that?
Yeah, like if you were like, oh, go ahead, try me, right? Where most people would think the opposite. They'd be like, oh my gosh, because I'm curious about how it fits where you felt like you were seeking people's approval, like me, love me, and all these things. But at the same time, go ahead and underestimate me. Just go ahead, So it's kind of like an interesting polarization in all honesty.
I don't know, but when you underestimate me, it's always a mistake.
Amen, sister. High five, right? Holy crap. Wow, right?
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. I mean, and actually it's funny. Well, actually it's kind of funny because many people that have been considered dumb blondes are actually pretty smart.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
Just saying.
Yes.
Because you can get away with more.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
You can. Mm-hmm. And you may smile and seem all sweet, but I have an edge. And many people have underestimated that. And they didn't realize that there was a brain behind the blue eyes and blonde hair. And I mean, that's just that stereotype, I think. And you shouldn't stereotype people because you're always making a mistake when you do that. If somebody comes into me and they say, Linda, I want to look like a model and I'm 58 years old and they're out of shape. Okay. I might think, well, I am very positive, but that is kind of a stretch. And do you know, I had a lady do that. And I literally, after she did my plan through the book, the second book, The Sisterhood of Sweat Project, and she literally did the diet, the workouts. She did look like a model. Her abs looked better than my young 20-year-olds. She got down to like 11% body fat. She wore a bikini on the beach for the first time, and she did look like a model. So don't underestimate people just because they aren't there yet, or they don't look the part of what you think a smart person looks like. Wait, let me look smart.
Yeah, right. There you go. No, but isn't it so true? I mean, I love it that we could laugh about it because I think that, but for me, I didn't feel that level. I mean, I think that people always assumed or thought that I was confident, but I think that's similar with you. I grew up in such a big family with so much chaos, and that we all play roles, right, in our families. And, for you were the bright light, and you know what? Me too, right? And it comes with the cost. It comes with a cost. So let's just say in the last few years, maybe since I've known you, what is one of the beliefs that you had to let go of or adopt in your value or in anything? Maybe you're particularly into a core value about you.
So many things, but probably the biggest is that I need someone else's approval.
Preach it, girly.
And that I needed their validation. and not realizing that I didn't need somebody else's validation and approval and permission to live out my biggest dreams. I just needed my own permission and approval, and that I'm already worthy. I'm already worthy. I don't have to prove my worth to anybody.
Gosh. So if someone's listening to that, what would you say? What would be the process that someone could seek that? Because, in a world where only 10% of people are interested or actually do the work in personal development and even spirituality, Linda, that's the statistic, right? 90% of people are not seeking personal growth or don't commit to it on a daily basis or have a deeper or commit to really a deeper connection with God. So what would you say to that 90% of people, or maybe there's that 10% that really wants it, babe?
So you're putting your power in someone else's hands if you're seeking approval and external validation. It's always better if the power's in your hands. So that would be number one. And just realize that when you're seeking that approval outside of yourself, they may never give it to you. You may be killing yourself. You may be working and achieving and that's like a drug, by the way. It can be. You just have to achieve. And it's never enough because what you're truly seeking is perhaps a parent, a loved one, somebody important in your life never gave you the approval and you're still looking for it. So my advice is to stop that, because that person may never give you the approval that you're looking for, no matter what achievement you achieve. So giving yourself that approval, that is going to set you so free from that, and recognizing you've been beating yourself up, killing yourself for approval that someone may never give you.
So true. So Linda Mitchell, the transformative expert, man, I'm just seeing that all over. Hello, this is Kate. If you would like more information about working with me as a high performance coach, you can reach out to me at kate-mckay.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. So if people are in that place, oftentimes what I'll say is the people that love you the most, quote unquote, I'm putting air quotes around that, right? Closest family, husband, but they weren't given the gift that you were given uniquely by God. It wasn't imprinted in them. It was imprinted in you. So don't expect them to take out the pom-poms and cheer you on, people. Yeah. They're not going to be those people. And that's why it's so important to join Sisterhood of Sweat or some organization or group like that of people that are going to be like, hold you up, man. Because what I'm really, I love you to talk about a little bit more is why it's so important to have a place where you feel safe, right? And why is trust and safety so important even now, especially now, as we're moving in a place where people are so separate and isolated?
So how free have you been feeling? It would be my first question. So it's like how I just had this epiphany. I was just sitting here one day and I had listened to the news and all the fear mongering. And I was kind of like, when you're in that state, it's fight or flight. I know what that is. I've lived it. And it makes it so you're unable to make plans because you don't know what's going to happen next. And you don't feel stable and all these things. You got to just put that aside, because how long are you going to live like this? It could be another 20 years. I'm just, God forbid I said that, but I'm just saying, like, don't live another day like that, and this is what came to me is our dreams are not canceled. Our dreams are not canceled. And God is in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started dreaming that day, and I started speaking things out that I thought about. What have I never done? What would I like to do? And I started focusing all of my energy on my dreams instead of the fear of what may or may not happen.
Mm.
And in that moment, I said, I want to be on the billboards in Times Square. I want to be on the cover of a magazine. And I thought about wild horses and how they're so free, and their energy of being free to be themselves. And I think women are like wild horses when they're free to be themselves.
Mm.
They're beautiful. And so I was just kind of thinking of all that. And I Googled on the internet, wild horses, and up, came this place. And I was just like, it just all came to me because I've been thinking about having this retreat for women where, it's that safe place where we can build their confidence and their self-esteem. And I wanted it to be an experience that they've never had, like a life-changing experience. And I thought about how cool it would be in this location where the wild horses are running and roaming the beach to have a renowned photographer come and shoot them, teach them how to stand and pose so they look good in every picture.
Yeah.
Confidence is something you wear, not clothing. It's like what you own from the inside. It's not about your size. It's not about whether you're 2 or you're 22 size. It's not about whether you're 2 age or 22 or 90 either.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's this whole attitude. And I just really wanted to have this fire walk where it's like Soul Train, and we're walking down the line in our heels, and everyone's cheering us on, saying all these beautiful things. And you do it 3 times. And by the 3rd time you've walked down the line, you're owning it. But the first time you were embarrassed. The second time you felt awkward. But by the 3rd time, you're getting it. You're owning your confidence. You're claiming it. And I just had this vision. So I'm at the billboards. This did happen in 4 weeks' time after I set it out in the universe. I'm standing there, and this I cannot make up. It gives me the chills. I'm watching the billboard. I'm already kind of like, whoa. And all the billboards, I cannot make this up, all 6 billboards lit up with wild horses.
Oh, wow.
And I have it on video. And that's when
goodness.
That is when I knew. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm going to do this event. And it all came together. I knew I wanted the photographer that did this billboard to be the one shooting the photos. And we're having this event, and it's open, and the food is going to be prepared nutritionally by a chef. And
what are the dates, Linda?
It's April 6th through the 10th, and workouts and all the stuff.
Where is it?
It's in Corolla Beach, North Carolina.
Okay, awesome. And we'll have the deets in the notes for sure. Like if this is something, and Linda does so many cool things, I'll make sure to share all her information in the show notes, because if it's not horses on the beaches, something else coming out that's just as wild and beautiful for you to celebrate yourself, right? Confidence is something that we need to generate. It's like a power plant. We need to stroke it, baby. It's something that we need to nurture. It's not an innate thing, peeps, right? And I think that's a misnomer. So much of what I do talk about is how we embrace that inner confidence, that inner hottie. That's incredible. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So that's really great. And I'm still thinking maybe I'm going to try to do that because it would be really amazing. So Linda, is there something that maybe most people wouldn't know about you that you want to share with the audience? Dare I ask?
I'll just share the fact that once upon a time, I didn't know how to study. And my grandmother was an English and Latin teacher, and she taught me how to pull out of whatever you're reading, to pull out the meat of what you're reading, in a short amount of time. So I am a speed reader. I can read a 200-page book in an hour, or even maybe a little larger, and remember the important things that I read. So it's kind of an odd thing, but it's a good thing for podcasting.
Really good, because you remember stuff it's really good. I love that, because the next question I was going to ask you was, there something that's strange or unusual? So viewers and listeners, if you hear this, I just can't study, or I can't concentrate, or it was one person that helped Linda to speed read. So don't let any limitation that you can't do something. Sometimes we just need to lean in and find that one person. We don't have to do it alone. I think that's so important. Can you just talk a little bit, if you don't mind, about Sisterhood of Sweat, and what was the calling in that, and how does that tie in with your bigger why, Linda?
The calling in that. Well, I don't think I fully understood it when I wrote the book, but I knew it was bigger than me, right? Mm-hmm. I knew it was going to be bigger than me. And I didn't see myself the way that you saw me, Kate, but your belief in me, you were such a catalyst for all kinds of changes in my life. And so the book came, then the little studio. Then it grew, I was kind of in this space where I said, I know, God, I've been playing small. I'm ready to go big. And, my rent tripled the next week. So it was go big or go home. Yes. And we went big. And actually, I was flat on my back when all this happened, with a hamstring that had to be reattached. And, God made my gym and my mission and my vision effortless. I literally feel like mice put up my gym. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
but in Cinderella, where the mice are doing everything. Right. It was this thing that God just gave me, because I never visualized or saw myself having a place as magnificent as this. And it was my dream to help other women. And I was in the position to do it. And though I had to have faith and take that leap each time to get there. And so I'm in the place. It's been during the year, I'm asking God, do you rescue people, or do they have to do it themselves? And literally within a minute of saying that prayer and walking in to the hospital, because I had a doctor's appointment, I saw a pink purse, and it drew my eye. Okay. Because I love pink, no secret there. And I walk in, and there's this box, and I'm like, oh, motivational sayings. I should do that at the gym. I pull it up, and it's God rescues his people. Wow. Answer. Okay. So
exact wording.
That's going to the why now. So that happened. And another time I prayed this prayer again, because it was all with my why and what I was doing. And should I be moving forward? Is this the, right
and
path?
Let me remind you audience that she had to be in a wheelchair. This wasn't a small injury. She ripped her hamstring off the bone, people. It's disgusting, right? I remember talking to her and going, oh my God. And she's like, yeah, so I'm expanding my gym. And she's wheeling in the store in a wheelchair. This was not a small injury, people. So
yeah. So, right. And this is when God can show up even greater in your life. And so don't rule yourself out if you've had a setback.
Yes.
Maybe it's for your comeback. Maybe something even greater you've been missing because you've been running past it. So getting to this whole thing with the purse again, I prayed again. God, do you rescue people? I bumped into my stereo, and on came the song, Lauren Daigle, SOS, which stands for Sisterhood of Sweat, by the way. I'm just saying SOS. And I got it. I got it in one. I listened to the song. It's talking about how he rescues you. He's heard your cry. He hears you in the middle of the night. and you're being heard and seen. And I got it in one, why I was taking over the other side, the bigger purpose of what I was doing. And I got the whole understanding of the name SOS, Sisterhood of Sweat. I got it because I had been doing SOS. SOS is a distress signal. And at some point in our life, we have all had a distress signal. And God hears your cry. And that was what my place, that's what it's for. It's for women to be seen, heard, and supported. That's what my community is all about. And that is it in a nutshell. And then what happened, my friend that day brought me a pink purse again.
Are you serious?
A pink purse again. And then I walk out the door. The landlord says, I really want you to have this place. So I pretty much made my decision.
It's crazy. I love when you say the distress signal, because it's true. We all have been in that place where, oh my gosh. Oh,
okay.
There
you see this? First. Can I just tell you? I don't know what this one means yet. This is the third pink purse given to me.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious? That's a good one. Gosh, that's awesome. Third pink purse. That's amazing. Oh my gosh. So Linda, I'm just going to ask you a couple more questions. I want to be respectful of your time. If you were to tell something, talking to yourself 20 years ago, what would you tell yourself in one sentence?
Man, that's such a good one. And I knew what the answer was earlier, but now I'm kind of like, that you are enough just as you are, and not to get so caught up in worrying about what other people think, because what you think is the most important. And just trust yourself that you know what's right for you, and that you have an inner knowing to trust your gut and your instincts, because they're going to lead you in the right direction.
That's amazing. That's so cool. Linda, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate your sharing. I appreciate your heart. And I appreciate your tenacity and the lightness that you bring. It's almost incongruous, and it comes together so beautifully in you. So I really just want to express my gratitude in the light that you bring to the world. And thank you for continuing to light the way for other women to be their safe haven in a time of distress. So thank you so much.
Well, I thank you for that. And I just have to say that you are just so good at this, Kate. I love being interviewed by you. I love what you're doing, how you're doing it. And I just really, you have just been a catalyst in my life as the person that you are showing up to be. And that is why when you have these big visions, you need to really think about, if I don't do this, who's not going to be helped? Because who is not going to be brave enough to get out there and follow their dreams, their purpose, passion, and their mission if I don't show up today as the biggest, best, boldest version of myself?
So true. Preaching it, Linda.
And I hope that all of our listeners have enjoyed this podcast. And if you guys have really enjoyed this, please review us in iTunes, and also share this episode with your friends and your loved ones. Thanks again for listening to the Sisterhood of Sweat.